We're looking at Philippians chapter 2 today, verse 17 and 18. But I'll read from verse 12. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only in my presence, but much more in my absence. Work out your salvation in fear and trembling, for it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. Do all things without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God, without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generations, among whom you shine as light in the world, holding fast to the word of faith, word of life, so that in the day of Christ I may be poured out, that I do not run in vain or labor in vain. Even if I am poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrifice offering of your faith, I am glad and rejoice with you all. Likewise, you also should be glad and rejoice with me. Today's title is The Poured Out Life. I mean, who likes a comfortable life? Everybody, right? And Santino wanted to ride first class. He wants the comfortable life, the life of convenience. I remember a friend of mine once telling me, Bobby, luxury once tasted becomes necessity. Very true. I remember growing up, the first time I rode business class, I told myself, man, business class only. It's good. But the thing is, when it's time to travel again, I checked the price. I said, no, tiis na lang. Ganun lang naman yan, right? Tiis na lang to damage just 1 hour flight to whatever hour flight that is. Because once you taste it, it becomes a necessity. And I realized no one wants a difficult life. I mean, everyone wants the easy life. And for some of us, you know, to sacrifice for an easy life is hard to do. Sometimes, even like in school, we want a high grade, but we don't want to study. That's difficult. That's very hard. And for some people, they shun away from doing the hard stuff, from doing the difficult stuff. Yet, they don't want to do the difficult stuff in life, yet they want the same result. They want the same benefits. As if they did the hard work. Kaya they end up saying, do the hard work. Are you willing to do the hard work? Most of the people, they don't want. Even if it is for their good. Anak, study hard. It will be good for your future. Exercise. Do the daily grind of waking up early, Paolo, to swim. It will do you good. And a lot of people refuse to do that daily grind. You refuse to do the hard work. Now I ask you, try to do the hard work, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of others. Oh, that's really hard. To do the hard work for your benefit is already hard enough. In fact, we try to find reasons why we should do it, even though it's for our good. What more doing the hard stuff, not for your benefit. In fact, for your detriment. Makakasama pa nga sa'yo eh. But for the benefit of others. Will you do it? Are you willing to make that sacrifice? Are you willing to have a poured out life? And that's the title of our message today. A poured out life. Yet this is the very thing we see in the life of Paul. Paul was a great example of what a poured out life is. And if you would pour out your life, if you are willing to lay waste your life, it only means that the purpose should be higher and beyond your life. The purpose that you have to have in mind should encompass your whole life, the totality of who you are. Let's read verse 17. It says, "But even if I am being poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I rejoice and share with my joy and share my joy with you all." Even I being Now the question is this: what is a poured out life? What is Paul talking about here? If you look at the language of this verse, offering, sacrifice, faith, poured, all of those terms are sacrificial language. These are the language that is being used by the Israelites when they do sacrifices to God. And a poured out is normally the drink offering. This is normally either wine or water. What happens is after there's a burnt offering where they burn the animal, what they do is they get wine or water and they pour it on top of the burnt offering. And what happens if you pour out liquid on top of a burning item? It evaporates. And their belief is that evaporation, that smell, goes up to the heavens, and God smells it and is pleased by the smell of the offering. That's the poured out as a drink offering. Now, the Bible says, even if, the word "if" there is not a conditional but a fact. It means because I am poured out as a drink offering. That is the life of Paul. A life of being poured out. And in this context, that would pertain to his imprisonment. Because he is being poured out at the moment. So his imprisonment is the sacrifice that he is experiencing at the moment. Remember, the theme of the book of Philippians is what? Walk in a manner worthy of the gospel. And what that does not mean is this: if you fight against one another, if you quarrel, if you grumble a lot, if you refuse to serve others, then you are not walking in a manner worthy of the gospel. Because walking in a manner worthy of the gospel is considering others better than yourselves. It means serving others. It means being united with one another. And when the Bible tells us that all of us needs to be united, it does not mean that you should have the same ideas. It does not mean that you should have identical opinion or the same views. Unity, being one mind, does not mean you are do you say that? It does not mean that you are in agreement in all things. It only means that you are united. It's the church, kasi the Christian's church is not it's not uniformity, but unity. Being one mind does not mean uniformity, but unity. It does not mean that all of us should march like an army. Left, right, left, right, left, right. That's not one mind. But it's more descriptive of an orchestra, wherein there is one conductor and there's many instruments and many parts. Everybody's different. Everybody's playing their different instrument and different notes. But together, there's a masterpiece. So we're not called to be uniform. We are called to be united. That is working out the gospel. And we will never be united if we are not humble. If we are not willing to have the same mind as Christ. And in our passage, Paul is showing us how a mind of humility looks like. A lot of times when we talk about being humble, we think of an attitude. But in reality, being humble is really not only an attitude, but an action. Go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 8. Philippians 2 verse 8 says, being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. Do you realize that a life of disobedience is a prideful life? Humility is expressed through obedience to God. If you are not obedient to God, you are not humble. You're telling God, God, I can do this on my own. God, I'm wise enough. I have the power. I don't need you. I can go through life without you. That's being prideful. When the Bible says pray unceasingly and we don't pray, guess what? We are prideful. We are saying, Lord, there's no need to rely on you. But when we obey God, when we are obedient, that is an act of humility. It's saying, Lord, I have nothing without you. I have nothing to show off. Apart from you, I can do nothing. To be humble in obedience is an attitude of reliance. Reliance to God. And here we see Paul learning from his master. And we are to learn equally from our master. Go to 1 John chapter 3. First John chapter 3, verse 16 says, we know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. The poured out life. We know. John is here. John is saying, this is a fact. This is common knowledge. We know about this thing.